Hello everyone from ISTC 655 and of course our professor. For a peer learning presentation, I have to present Chapter 5, Learning is Visual. So the learning goal and objective for this lesson is to learn how to use the 4 strategies for designing visuals for learning. So let's get started. Strategies for designing visuals has 4 strategies. Strategies to reduce overload, strategies to guide attention, strategies to support perception, and strategies to promote visual learning. Strategy number 1, strategies to reduce overload. Stick to relevant graphics. Words and images are better than words alone for supporting learning. And we've been reading about this in a lot of our readings. Relevant graphics are those that help the learner process and interpret the learning content or help him engage in learning activity. Educational graphic types suggested by Mayer and Ruth Clark are rational graphics, show how things interrelate such as comparative graphs or interactive system models. Graphic organizers, which we probably already use in the classroom, provide an early overview by structuring the concepts of a lesson. Transitional graphics show change over time. Graphics showing things that would otherwise be invisible, such as atomic structure or the global movement of money. And graphics that help learning in context, such as case study, image, a thin graphical user interface, or a virtual world. So ask yourself these questions before you add images to a lesson. What is the purpose of the image? Will it distract learners from the task or make it difficult for him to focus on other elements on the page? If the image is generic, could an explanatory image such as a diagram support learning? Does the design guide visual focus to what matters most? Strategies for simplifying your visuals. Use line drawings, use silhouettes, use icons, clearly show parts and connections. Remove extra details, but be careful what you remove. Clear the background. Make text legible, concise, and consistent. Employ thoughtful reduction. Here are examples. Here's an example of 3 graphics of the brain in 3 levels of simplification. Brain number 1, brain number 2, and brain number 3. So as you can see, brain number 3 is very simple, very simplified visual of the brain. This is what we want. Group images and text together. Include labels with images rather than separating them off into a caption. So I use the image below as an example. This is something I would probably use to teach my students in level 1, the body parts in Spanish. Help learners not have to move back and forth trying to make connections, because this will clearly probably frustrating and it will waste a lot of time. Research shows that simple guidelines improve learning outcomes immeasurably. Research also shows that if task instructions are set in decorative font, learners will believe the task is harder than it is. So when I was teaching my Spanish 2, the rooms of the house in Spanish, I clearly was not knowing what I was doing. Avoid overly decorative text. And this is what I did in this image. I love pink and I love yellow, and I thought the combination was perfect. But apparently, for our learners, it is not. Use font size at least 10 points. Bigger is better, and ensure that text is resizable. So guys, this image is a big no-no, and I have to go back and edit it for next year when I reteach this lesson. Strategy number 2, strategies to guide attention. Support learner attention with conscious signals. Research by Patricia Mattone and Richard Mayer shows that visual cues like arrows and color coding improve information recall in multimedia learning. Numbers and letters indicate hierarchy because we understand them, because we already are familiar with them as having an order. Metaphors, maps, and overview images can give direction and structure to the information in graphic. So let's do this activity together. I want to teach my Spanish 2 the difference between para versus por. In Spanish, there's a difference. In English, they both mean 4. But I have 3 infographics here. Which one do you think I should use to teach my Spanish 2 class this content? I'm going to give you about a minute to take a look at the 3 infographics and choose which one would be a better choice for my students. Okay, so if you picked image number 3, infographic number 3, that is the better choice. I would clearly choose this one because it's more simple, easier to understand, and then I would probably move to infographic number 1 when they're a little bit more familiar with the content, and then maybe when they have already grasped the idea and know a lot more about the content, I would move them to infographic number 2. So infographic number 3 would be the better choice. And I hope that's the one that you chose. Strategy number 3, strategies to support visual perception. Avoid color and texture fox paws. Traffic jam. Mixing colors that are difficult for the brain to identify causes traffic jam. Detail lettering over a grainy texture is hard to see. So as you can clearly see, the image that you are looking at is bothering your eyes. So the background pattern makes text harder to distinguish. The overuse of color may harm retention, and the use of bright colors for text may cause eye fatigue, which is what I am feeling right now, and I know you are too. So let's move on. Okay, use luminance for visual detail. Research shows that it's easier to discern detail in black and white. Simple, black and white. High contrast combos like dark blue on white or yellow or black are also effective. So I chose 4 billboards that we're used to seeing when we travel on 495, 395, all the 95s. So we have Pizza Hut. How is school today? I'm loving it. Eat more chicken. So if you look at all of these, they either have black or white. And this is high contrast combos that combine. So the black with the white and the white with the red, they make a great combo. So this luminance is very effective. Strategy number 4, strategies to promote visual learning. Use segmenting, sequencing, and layering to tame complexity. Learning content should be broken into manageable parts, into chunks that the learner can process one at a time. A sequence is a series of segments in chronological order. Research shows that sequencing increases processing efficiency and understanding, and that segmenting improves learning outcomes. Oversimplifying a data can put the integrity of the information at risk. Layering of detail and segmenting can help clarify this. Avoid interference. Features in the same processing channel will interfere with one another. Cognitive conflicts are also based on our prior experience and knowledge of the world. Piaget and Vygotsky. The Stroop effect occurs when 2 cognitively opposing concepts are used together. Like a green stop sign. I have never seen a green stop sign. Have you? Inconcurrence occurs when an object appears in an unusual context, like a grizzly bear driving a car. Cute, but avoid this interference. In conclusion, guys, use a systematic approach when adding images to a lesson. Ruth Clark and Shapita Lyons have outlined a 5-phase interactive visual design model for us. So, define the goal. Determine the context, audience, environment, medium, constraints. Design the visual approach. Identify communication function of visuals to match content types. Apply principles of psychological instructional events to visual design decisions. So guys, I hope that you guys learned a lot from this, and I hope you take this model into consideration when adding images to your lesson. All right? Thank you, guys. Goodbye.